Hello, I'm John McNamara. Welcome to our Google Hangout. I'm here today with Matt Lucas. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Hey, John. I'm doing very well, thank you. And you?
Very well, thank you. For those who are watching at home, we'll be kicking off in approximately 2 minutes, but we want to kick off a bit early. Please do feel free to talk with yourselves, but probably a good time to mention our Twitter hashtag, which is IBM Integration. Ping us any questions at all. Matt's going to be giving us a stellar demo on getting started with IBM Integration Bus version 10. So that'll be something to look forward to.
Good.
So Matt, how are you been, buddy?
I'm doing right. The weather could be a bit better over here, but you know.
Yeah.
So stop raining out there.
So how is DE3?
It's great. Hersley is just this room is particularly amazing.
Hey, have you
is that the thing I can see over there? The you've got your space probe.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. You can touch it almost. You can touch it. Yeah. Oh gosh, I think I used up all of my luck in one go. Went at 20 miles, fell. The parachute didn't deploy. It fell 20 miles at 20 meters per second, and just as it was about to hit a lake, the cords snagged a tree branch and just stopped it, and it was completely intact, not a scratch.
And now it's sitting in your office.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, they're gonna the guys are gonna put it in the Hersley Museum.
Really? So we've got all these thousands of pounds worth of equipment in Hersley Museum, and then well, it has been to space, unlike most ThinkPads, I guess.
I know. So, okay, so I think we're on the hour. So I'm going to welcome everyone to the Google Hangout. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. I'm John McNamara, one of the senior inventors in the IBM Hersley Labs. I'm here today with Matt Lucas. Hello again, Matt. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing extremely well. Thanks, John.
Fantastic. Now, Matt today is going to give us a phenomenal demo on getting started with IBM Integration Bus version 10. If you've got any questions, please do tweet them to us on Twitter using the hashtag IBM Integration. So, Matt, you're going to get us started. I'll hand it over to you, buddy, and I'll ask you questions as I come through on Twitter, and also any that I can think of myself as well.
Yeah. No, I'm guessing you're going to be seeing this for the first time as well. Have you managed to play much with IIB?
This is going to be the first time I played on it for about, I would say, a good 6 months. Although I did give a presentation on IIB for beginners to CSI only last week. So
okay. So you've talked about it, you've just not used it yet.
Not used the new one yet. No. I do it on best app.
Okay, well, very good. So what I'm going to do then is if I just flip to share my screen, hopefully this will work for you. Let me know if you are. Let me just move this window out the way. Can you see my desktop now, the great Windows logo?
Desktop perfectly.
Great. So if I start from absolute basics then, and assuming you haven't got IIB installed anywhere on your machine. In fact, that's a pretty good starting point for this laptop, because this isn't the laptop I normally use. I'm proud to say I'm a Mac user. Actually, I'm part of the hipster crowd. So this is pretty much a clean laptop. So I'm going to start off. I have pre-installed things just in the interest of time, but to all intents and purposes, this is an empty machine. First thing you're going to do is type in IBM Integration Bus into Google. I can't type, can I? So that thing when you've got people standing over your shoulder, either over the internet or whatever. So do a good Google for Integration Bus, and that will take you to the first link. There is the product page. And if you're going to get started with IIB, what you're really going to want to do as a developer is download the developer edition. And this is the link here. The download button just takes you to the page where you can get the software straight away. This will take you to the download site. It's about a gigabyte, just over a gigabyte in size. So it's very quick to download. The install of the product takes, well, this is a pretty slow machine. If you've got a solid state disk, probably just over a minute or so.
Wow.
This is a traditional hard drive, so it's a slightly longer. But either way, it will lay down on your machine very quickly. On Windows, it's an MSI, a standard MSI installer. So it just uses the Windows install there. Linux, it really is just an unzip. So you just unzip it to wherever you want on the machine. Okay. So that you download it, you'll be left with a single file on your desktop. This is the one that you should see here. This is the version 10 developer edition. So it's about 1 gigabyte in size, installs very quickly. Once you've installed it, you should see a couple of new icons on your start menu if you're on Windows anyway. So you've got, you'll have a new category here, which is the integration bus, the integration console, and the integration toolkit. The thing that we're going to be interested in here, that we're going to use today, is the integration toolkit. So you just click on that thing, and that will start up the developer tooling for IRB. And in the interest of time, this is the screen that you would see for the first time. So this is, it's the development tool. This is where you develop all the integrations that are going to be deployed down to IRB. It's just a single package. As I say, there's nothing else to install there. No prerequisites. As a new user, thing I'm going to be most interested in here is the getting started page. So let's click on getting started, and that'll take me to this this page here. This is called the tutorials gallery, and we have a set of out of the box scenarios that we can just use to kick the tires of the tool to get going. So I'm going to click on integration services here. So I'm just want to in this particular example, I just want to get going with a simple SOAP HTTP based application. I just want to deploy something down and get it going as quickly as possible. The scenario is, maybe you're writing a line of business app and that has a need for doing some integration. Maybe you want to get some data out of an enterprise service, perhaps a database or something else. The one that I'm going to be using today is actually, I'm going to be deploying down an integration service that exposes a few web service endpoints. So SOAP HTTP. So what I want is I want to have the integration bus expose some SOAP HTTP, so I can connect in web-based applications to it, and it's then going to do some integration for me. The integration in this case is going to be a Celsius to Fahrenheit converter. So it's just it's going to take a value, in this case a number that's going to represent a temperature, and it's going to convert that temperature into something else. So it's a very simple integration, but hopefully should help get you understanding all what services support means inside IRB and what the core concepts are. So you're with me so far, John?
I am. I was going to ask one question, if I may, Matt.
Yeah.
So IIB, integration bus, fantastic, but can you not code up the integration logic into your business-focused app? What's the benefit of doing this in IBM Integration Bus?
Yeah, great question. So yes, you could. Absolutely, you could. The real value that we're having that we have from IRB is the fact that we take care of all that plumbing for you. So if you could spend the time encoding it directly into your apps yourselves, but if the endpoints change, if the business needs change, then you're going to have to maintain all those connections. Whereas if you have something like IRB in the middle of it, it can abstract away from the producers of that information and the consumers of that information. So we're effectively doing the plumbing of the moving the data around, doing all the conversion. Allows you to be a lot more flexible. It helps. I guess it helps with the one of the good software engineering practices, which is about having a good layer of abstraction between applications, so minimizing coupling, really.
Cool. I guess it helps you avoid that awful spaghetti type of integration as well. And you've got one.
Yeah, it does, and hopefully you'll find it's pretty straightforward to use as well, and you can get going pretty quickly, and hopefully that's what you'll see here.
Perfect, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, so as you probably saw while I was idly listening to your question there, I just clicked on the import button, and that imported this particular integration service into my toolkit. And you can see here that we've got here listed my service, my temperature converter service that's exposing a set of bindings, in this case web service bindings, and there are two operations, a C to F operation and an F to C operation that does the two conversions. And if I click on one of those, if I just clicked on C to F, you'll see that there's an implementation of that service. Here we're mapping from Celsius into Fahrenheit. I can look at the implementation further in this. We use this thing called a graphical data map that says, look, we're going to take a temperature in Celsius here, that's a decimal value. We're going to apply a function to that that's going to convert it into the temperature in Fahrenheit. And that's all well and good. Let's just try that out. I'm going to use a tool here to deploy that service down to my integration runtime. And I'm actually going to record messages. We've got a great tool inside the toolkit that allows us to record messages as they pass through. And I'm going to send a message through that service that's going to take the Celsius data and is going to convert it into a Fahrenheit data. So I'm going to click on the send a message through, again, all integrated into the tool here. Now this service is going to be expecting an XML document, and there's going to be one key element of that XML document, which is the temperature in C, and you can see that listed here. And as part of the sample, it understands that XML document. It's got all the schemas associated with it, as you'd expect, and I can try it out. So John, give me a temperature in Celsius that you want me to convert, just any old number.
72, please.
72. Okay, let's send that through, and that's going to send that data all the way through the code there. And if I just click on that as it comes through, you can see that we've highlighted in green there the path that particular message has sent through the flow. And I can click on the little envelopes there, and you can see that there's my data come through, temperature in C 72. And if I click on the other side after that transformation, then hopefully that's been converted into 161.6. There you go. That's the value they got. That's all well and good. You know, it's all the integrated unit test environment that we've got there. If you wanted to see something, an external tool, let's say my line of business app, let me just quickly test that out as well. And for the purposes of this example, I'm just going to use NetTool. If you're not aware, it's an open source app for invoking HTTP, in this case, endpoints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push some data into the service that I'm hosting on IIB. Again, XML data, but I'm going to push it using an external tool here. So this is NetTool, and here's my again temperature in C. In this case, let's try 100. And if I click on send, then that will be invoking that external. That will be getting NetTool to invoke that app from an external point of view, and then we're going to get the data back here, an XML document all the way back from IIB. In this case, it's converted it into 212 as you would expect. So that's all I've done there is exposed an HTTP endpoint inside IIB in a few clicks. That's all importing. From there, you could use this as the basis of your own application if you wanted to, your own integration service. You can do cool things. If I clicked on new here, if I didn't want to use web services and I instead wanted to use REST and JSON, and I can do that. So if I click on my API, I can click on next and go and import a Swagger 2.0 document there that represents a REST JSON API, and you can see here in just exactly the same way. This is the standard pet store that you'll find on the Swagger.io website. I've got here a list of applications and put, get, post, delete operations that I can go and implement, and just the same way as before, I can go and implement those directly inside IIB by wiring up. This is our flow editor that allows me to wire together the integrations that effectively tells IIB how we want it to perform, whether that's doing mapping, whether it's calling out to a database or doing some file integration. It's all very straightforward there, and you can do that in a few clicks, and you can drag and drop the services as you implement them directly onto your integration node to make them all live. And that's it, really. And that's all I really had. You got any other questions there, John?
Yeah. So I really love the the highlight of the route of the message through the flow. So I'm going to ask the question, if, say, for example, your flow is more complicated, your number of compute nodes in there with a number of outputs, and there were a number of ways through that flow, when you passed your message through, would it actually highlight the route it took rather than just the default straight line? Would it actually show you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it does. So you can see here, this is just a very basic flow that because there is only one path through the flow, it's all going to be highlighted in green. Actually, you can see that slightly better here on that services view because we're exposing the SOAP over HTTP bindings. You can see that we actually invoke the C2F flow. But yeah, exactly. In a more complex flow, we would show the path it took. And it's a great unit test tool. So if you wanted to ensure that you did some code coverage, if you wanted to make sure that the path that the IRB is taking corresponds to the actual path that you'd expect, then this is exactly the way you do it. This is all new in version 10. If you've used previous versions of the product, it won't be in there. This is a great new feature in IRB version 10.
Phenomenal. And I noticed one of them watching the MQ, so the input nodes and the output nodes. I'm guessing as well that the relationship with MQ is going to be supported, and you can link those back to MQQs as easily as you ever could in the older versions.
Oh, absolutely. All those old MQ use cases continue to exist in version 10. And in fact, we've made the MQ support a lot better in version 10 as well. If I just select the MQ input node now, you can now do things like call out to remote queue managers that you never could do before.
Wow.
So, you can put in some client connection properties here, a remote queue manager definition. That's all there. That wasn't there in previous versions. So yeah, very strong MQ support. But also you can see that the sheer number of different endpoints that we support inside IIB, whether they're ERP systems, HTTP, JMS. MQTT is another one that's new inside version 10, as well as email, file. You can see the list there, right? So that's one of the great strengths of IIB.
Perfect, buddy. And I guess, are you able to interrogate the message that's gone through as well to look at the values that's gone through?
Yeah. So if I actually took one of these, if I look at this, we're parsing the message as they go through. Now, IIB exposes a number of, it contains a lot of metadata associated with every invocation as well. So, and that data is all preserved here inside this. Here's the actual data from my message that I sent through in a quite nice form. And you can go and save that off as well. You can save your data so you can go and review it and compare it when you go and make changes and so on.
That is phenomenal, buddy. Thank you very much. That is awesome. So, if you were a novice and you wanted to play with the technology, how long do you think it would be to install and get up and running and actually get end to end with a sample tutorial like this? How long do you think it takes?
Well, I've shown you how quickly you can get going. Now, clearly, I may have used this before, right? But you're always just a quick Google away from getting everything you need here. The developer edition isn't time bombed in any way. You can just download, play with it. You can use it for developing whatever integration solutions you want, even if you're going to then go and move them through into production systems. That's absolutely fine. That's just free of charge. We don't license that or anything. You just get hold of it. Allows developers to get going extremely quickly. If you wanted to do something more complex, then how long's a piece of string? It's a great development tool. It's a great tool for enabling developers, and it frees, crucially, it frees up developers from having to bother with all that plumbing logic. How to get data from point A to point B, and that's why it's been a great success. That's why I like it anyway.
Phenomenal. That looks awesome, and it's very inspiring. Actually, you managed to get it up running, get a flow up there really quickly, put a message through, see the contents of the message and the output as well. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, buddy. I guess
my pleasure.
Last question.
Let's stop sharing now. You can go.
Oh, okay. The last question I would ask would be, for more information about IB version 10, we have a blog or a community we can go to find the latest and ask questions.
Yeah, there is. So the best website is that for developer community would be developer.ibm.com /integration. And that's where we have our blogs. So that's where all the dev team hang out. We're also all over mqseries.net as well. There's a Stack Overflow, all those usual sites. We try and go on those as much as we can. It's a great friendly community as well. So so I'd recommend that.
Matt, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you so very much indeed, sir. It's been a pleasure.
No, my pleasure as always, mate.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.